Well, I think what careers in the creative industries teach you and what they contribute is that they tell our shared stories. We're a society that has a kind of predilection to kind of focus on kind of science and industry and technology. Well, actually, one of the biggest industries are creative industries, and we underestimate their power. We underestimate how much they're part of the influence that Britain has in the world. And because they're full of kind of lovies and people who don't seem that sort of business focused, we sometimes underestimate the scale of these industries in terms of film, in terms of television, in terms of games production. This is one of our great success stories, and we don't recognise it readily enough. To be graduating in Britain with humanities degrees, to wanting to work in the creative sector, is to graduate in a country that is one of the great superpowers of creativity, one of the superpowers of media in all its forms. I mean, the fact that we've, out of nowhere, created a games design system world in Dundee, of all places. The fact that British films are still enormously successful all over the world. The fact that many of the great feature films that will be shown on cinemas in every continent are made here. In some ways, it's a disguised industry. We sort of forget it's there because it sort of takes place behind closed doors and in studios off in the countryside. There's huge opportunity, and as I was saying, this is one of our great industries, one of our great success stories. Well, the thing I learned from doing humanities degrees was to rate information, to value what's important, to be able to read a lot of information and decide what was significant, what was powerful, what was emotive, and to order information into ways that made sense to others. But fundamentally, that's storytelling. And most of these industries, if you get down to what they really are, is they're storytelling mediums. Television, film, games, these are storytelling mediums. And that's how we communicate with each other. That's how we tell each other of our experiences, through the medium of story. So those skills, those storytelling skills, those information gathering and information processing skills, they are the background, fundamental, foundational skills of all the creative industries. People who study humanities often ask that question to justify what they're studying. It doesn't really happen to people who are studying sciences. And I think in some ways we need to recognise that there is a cultural bias that asks people studying humanities to justify themselves. And yet, actually, if you look around our society, if you look around what we're good at as a country, you see in all sorts of ways how the humanities give you the foundational skills to operate in those areas, in terms of law, in terms of media, in terms of the processing of information, the whole service economy. So much of that is built on skills that you can acquire in humanities degrees. In some ways, we need to kind of turn the question around and go, why do the humanities repeatedly, why are they asked to justify their existence in the way that other sectors, other degrees you might do, are never asked? When people study film, when they study drama, it's sometimes said that it should be all practical. What they should really be learning is stagecraft or lighting or things like that. And the actual analysis of what's going on within those media is deemed to be frivolous. I think that's to completely misunderstand the importance of drama. It's to misunderstand the ways in which these industries are really industries. They are really things that contribute enormously to our economy, enormously to our soft power, because they are the delivery systems for the things that we actually do with technologies. Someone who builds a laptop is said to be, involved in a kind of very practical, very a system that doesn't need to justify itself. But what you use that thing to do, which is to play games or watch movies, the people making the content are asked to justify what they're doing. The analysis, the understanding of how to make cultural products, how to produce things on stage and on the screen, is constantly asked to justify itself. And yet these are the things that not only we've built some of our economy upon, but these are the things that make life worth doing. There's no point having these tablets and these phones if there's nothing to watch on them, if there's nothing to consume, if we don't make cultural products.